right. So it's a little after 10:30, and I hate to take too much of our time, especially on a Friday. I know we're all trying to get onto the weekend. My screens on my computer are all hopping everywhere. Okay, now I can see y'all and my presentation. All right, so we're just doing like a little office hours presentation today. And as part of that, we like to talk about, open the floor to you guys and hear what's going on in your counties and answer any questions that you have. From the broadband office, I think today we've got myself, of course, and I think Lane was joining me today. Glenn is off doing great Glenn things at the Capitol this morning, so he won't be able to join us, but if you have any messages that you need passed on, by all means, share, and I will get those messages in front of him. So our agenda for the morning is to just kind of give you some quick updates on what we've got going on since the last time we talked. We're going to have some open discussion to see what kind of questions y'all have and what challenges or maybe some success stories. I've seen a few of those lately. And then our next meeting, just to give you a heads up, we're going to start our mapping discussion Thursday, September 7th, which is the Thursday after Labor Day at 3 o'clock. So I know that's a very hot topic, especially as I'm talking to people across the state and, what can our broadband, committee be doing, especially when it comes to connectivity. And so let's start with our map discussion, and that way you can start to get prepared for what's to come later in the fall. So just some quick updates from our office. Our executive summary, which is actually entitled the 5-year action plan, is due to the Department of Commerce, the Federal Department of Commerce, not the one I'm standing in, on Monday. So it is back at the design team after the final edits were done this morning, and we will be ready to go with that. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. We'll send out a press release Monday about that. We'll post it to all of our social media, and then there's most likely to be an email blast to go with that. That document is it's like 30 pages, so I mean it's not going to be an easy read, but I'll tell you that there is a public comment period that will be open to for anyone to share their comments or their if what they like about it, what they hate about it, that kind of stuff with us. So we will have a form set up on the website. I don't have a way to do paper comments right now, but we will have a form on the website that's easy to fill out where you can just tell us what you think about that 5-year action plan. And again, that's going to be released on Monday. We'll post a press release and everything on social media as soon as it's available for you to read. The other big thing that we've got going on for data collection right now is we're working on a digital asset map, which is going to display all of the digital learning and digital skills opportunities or programs that are already existing across the state. Ideally, we'd like to have those in a map so you can type your address in and kind of see what's nearby you that you can get to, maybe for free training, or one day it'll have like device opportunities and all that kind of stuff. So if you need a link to that, just let me know. But we've blasted it out in email and it's posted on our social media as well. So the original deadline I think was today, but we've pushed that out another week just to kind of, a lot of the people that are interested in that information are like school districts, and they've been kind of busy the last couple of weeks since school started. So we're going to push that out another week to get more responses. And then lastly, and I'm just going to kind of mention this, Heartland Forward, who is one of our partners that's working on our digital skills and opportunity plan, is in the process of developing a broadband jobs website. And they're working with service providers, they're working with state entities and other nonprofit organizations who can help populate the data on that website and give Arkansans an idea about what jobs are available and how to apply for those jobs. So if that's your area and you'd like to participate in that broadband jobs website, please reach out to me so I can get you in touch with Solomon, who is heading up that effort. They, I think, are having a meeting on it next week or the week after, but he's asked me to kind of collect contact information for anyone that would like to participate in a broadband jobs initiative. So that is on the forefront. The last thing I wanted to bring up before we well, no, actually, I got a couple of things now. I'm looking ahead. But again, I wanted to remind everyone of the FCC Affordable Connectivity Program outreach grants. So these organizations, there's Solomon's contact information right there, actually. But anyway, these organizations have received funds from the FCC to do affordable connectivity outreach. And a couple of them have reached out to me asking for your help in coordinating events. So specifically, if you were in one of the Delta counties, the Plum organization, which is Dr. Howard Smith, you have his email and his phone number right there. He reached out this week that they're ready to go with some initiatives. So if you're in pretty much like West Memphis along the Mississippi River South, because I think his office is in West Memphis, but he serves all of those Southeast Arkansas Delta counties. So he is ready to go and wants to do some ACP outreach. UAMS does statewide work, and they've got a couple of people that are on their team that are coordinating that effort. And then the Boston Mountain Regional Rural Health Center, which I think is in Marshall, is where their main base is. But they do that north central part of the state. And the same thing, that they have a community outreach coordinator named Amber, and again, they're ready to go. So if you've got an event in mind, or you can help them set up an event in your community, please reach out to these people and help them help you. Yes, Mr. Donnie, I see you have a question.
Yeah, has anyone published a map yet for those high cost area districts that was going to be affected by the additional stipend for the ACP?
So I've seen a really rough screenshot of the map, and I know it's the Southeast Arkansas Delta, and then there's a couple in it looks like Polk County or Howard County, like something over on the Oklahoma border, but no one has sent me a map that I can actually click on and zoom in and see exactly where they're talking about. So as soon as I have that, I'll share that with the group, because I would like to know that information as well. So I think it's been announced, but it's not been launched yet, I guess is the right way to word that. But I'll find out from NTIA and share that with you. Okay, the only other thing I wanted to highlight today is that we've got some news stories from some of our broadband committees who have been featured in their local paper. So, I wanted to just remind you that we love this stuff. So if your broadband committee is in the local paper, please send that to us. If I have to subscribe to read the story, send me a screenshot or download it or something for me. But we'd love to hear what's going on in your communities. Invite me to your meetings. I may not be able to attend them all, but if I am available, I miss traveling, so we may show up. I've got Saline County's on my calendar, I think is next week. And then I know when Polk County's is now, because they sent me a thing showing their September meeting. But if you see anything in the newspaper or you hear anything, we don't have access to all that stuff. So send it to us so we can share with others. So great job, Polk County, getting the paper. I think this is this week. And then I also found a couple of articles too from Nevada County, which had service providers come and give presentations last week at their broadband committee meeting. And then Saline County's initial, I think this was their first meeting that was featured in the Saline Courier a couple of weeks ago. And like I said, I think their next meeting is next week. It's on my calendar. But yes, let us brag on you. We love to share this within the Department of Commerce up here. So, please share your meetings with us. Let us know when you're meeting. We went to Batesville yesterday and met with the county judge and the broadband committee there, and they are doing some really great work. They've reached out to the volunteer fire departments to kind of help them survey the county and find out where people have service and where they do not, and what their struggles are to afford the service and everything. So we hadn't talked about volunteer fire departments, so we thought that was a great idea. But yeah, I want to hear about what else is going on. So that's all I have to share. Do y'all have anything to share today? Don't be shy.
Lori, I will if you like.
Hey,
Um,
Rick.
Hey, I was just going to echo what you're saying about the volunteer fire departments. Across the Aristotle footprint, we have made it a point to use the volunteer fire departments as a resource. And just about 5, I believe, volunteer departments across the Delta, we're providing their internet service for them at no charge. Does a couple of things. It gives them a resource, but also it allows citizens who don't have access to internet to have a place where they can go get on. So it's a great resource for them to say, you know what, this particular person has to drive to us to get internet. So that allows them to know where the places are that aren't served. So fire departments are a great resource for us.
Yeah, if anybody knows the lay of the land, I think in your county, it's going to be your emergency responders for sure.
Yeah, they are. We appreciate them.
Yes, we do. Anyone else have anything going on? Any questions, challenges that maybe we can talk through?
Hey, Lori, it's Tabitha.
Hey, Tabitha.
So with the help of Walnut Hill, last week we passed out flyers to the entire Magnolia School District for the Affordable Connectivity Project. They gave us printed up some posters and things that we could put at can you all hear me okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. For the library, the health department, the schools and everything to kind of get that. They did them in Spanish as well so that we could have get that all out there. So we've been working hard on that. We've also, again, been in touch with the FFA groups and student council, teacher organizations and things to get those kids help with the digital skills trainings here in the future. So I sometimes feel like when I go to these people, I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but this is what's going on. And they're like, well, you're making sense. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yeah, but Walnut Hill's been very, very awesome in helping us get whatever that we need out there. So yeah, very exciting. There's lots of communication on our page now, and people are like, well, how are we supposed to get to these meetings if they're online? I'm like, we'll do in person. We're really trying. We were very excited to see that Walnut Hill does plan to have some of us connected in Columbia County by mid-November. Again, that brought more discussion yesterday. People like, well, what about us? What about us? But we're trying. We really are trying. So, I mean, there's positive. We're excited. I don't know. I know Venetia's very helpful for me, but what do I need to do now?
No, you're just keep relevant. That's kind of the thing, especially just in this initial planning phase, everyone is just really wanting to know, when am I going to get service? Like, I have an email from a Columbia County resident actually today. And I keep wanting to just forward it to you and be like, just talk to your broadband. So anyway, I answered her question. She's not in a current project area, those kinds of things. And so, the things that we're working on right now is, identifying those people who are without or without service completely or underserved. And, next week, a couple of weeks from now, when we start talking about the maps, I think that's really going to help, because I'm trying to prepare you all for what's going to be a challenge process that's going to happen at the end of the year. So your broadband committee is going to be kind of like the source in the county for those people whose addresses are on the map, but they're not tagged correctly. So it may show that they have service, but they don't have service, or they may show that they have super great service and they never have ever seen the super great service, or they may not be able to find their house on there at all because it doesn't exist, which is a whole separate problem that has to be addressed as well. Because if you're not on the map, then I can't issue any money to build to your house. So we're going to start those conversations at our next meeting. And that, I think, is going to help, as long as y'all can help, relay the message down the line, I guess it's like playing the telephone game, then, y'all are going to be like the point people to communicate to the county and then have those people come back to you with their findings. So it's it's going to be a lot of like communication, and I think we're going to work on some really good like handout material that explains all of the things kind of in a simple, non-technical way, so that people can, you know, take that information like home with them or to their grandparents' house and, you know, get ready, learn how to read the map. That's really like the big thing that we're going to be talking about very soon.
Awesome.
Hello, Mr. Howie.
Well, hello there.
Glad you could join us today.
Just back from legislative committee, so now I'm back.
Yeah. So we're just sharing, you know, some things that are going on in Columbia County, which we're going to next week. Has a lot of affordable connectivity work going on there. So we're really excited about that. The other thing I was going to bring up too is like thinking of Columbia County. Glenn's starting his Rotary Club circuit. So if you are, if you participate in your local Rotary Club and y'all are looking for a speaker, we would love to come talk about broadband in your area. We went to Bald Knob a few weeks ago. We're going to Magnolia next week. In September, I know we're going all the way down the street to downtown Little Rock's Rotary Club, but you know, we're trying to help get the word out just as you are. And I think, you know, if you need some, you know, heavy ammunition to back up your cause, send me an invite. We'll try to work you in the schedule somewhere. Any other successes or stories we want to talk about?
I read a brief article this week about the potential for having latency to be included in part of the standard from the FCC to, you know, to go along with the 100 meg down, 20 meg up new definition of what broadband is. But there's been a good bit of discussion about latency as well. Is that anything that you guys have gotten word of?
So the latency requirement that is in the BEAD program it's 100 milliseconds. So it has to be less than 100 milliseconds, which most from what I know, which is a little bit, but you know, most methods of delivery are way under that 100 millisecond latency. I think the ones that you run into trouble with are going to be the existing like satellite providers, not the low orbit satellite like Starlink, but the ones that are further out, like a HughesNet and whatever the other one is, Viasat. I think they have on occasion had a little bit more than that 100 millisecond latency issue. But for most of the work that we're doing, I think latency is going to be just kind of like a sidebar thing that we're not going to worry about.
Okay. There's something else that I had looked at and considered was, has anyone used or proposed to use part of their CARES Act funding or, you know, the coronavirus funding that the counties have received, or the American Rescue funds? Is that something that's on the wheelhouse as a potential area of matching funding that could come from the counties?
I believe that is an option. You can stack those funds. I think the challenge is that the deadline for the coronavirus funds is 2026 in December, and there's a little bit of fear that these projects won't even get started even until 2025. So I don't know, Glenn, do you have any thoughts on that? I know I've read about the stacking of the funds and that's how that's permitted, but none of the counties have reached out to us. So
Yeah, I know that it's a very good question, and I know that DFNA and the administration are working on a matching fund for some of this stuff. Now, we need to do, and that's a good question. So for our office is to go investigate if, for instance, local county governments or local communities could tap into that fund as far as a matching contribution, or if it's strictly intended for the state agencies to utilize matching funding from that fund for other pieces of the infrastructure bill, not just broadband, but other ones as well. So we'll check on that. Because I know the state is putting that together, but we just have to figure out the parameters of who can tap into it, and we'll research that for you.
Mhm. Okay, so who else has something going on? Tell me some stories. Don't make me like randomly pick on you.
I don't have a story, but I do have a question.
Sure.
Can we circle back to the meeting next week about the ISP's meeting about the job initiative? Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Venetia, I have very little information, mostly because that's Heartland Forward's project. And so they were recruiting people and they asked me to help them recruit people. So let me send Solomon your email address and he will send you that invitation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you also, this is Stacy Mitchell-Goy, the mayor of Stamps and also the principal of the Fayette County Elementary School. I would like to see some of that information as well as related to broadband jobs.
Okay.
And I know you guys covered some things about the outreach grant. Is there a website that kind of talks about what's the kind of layout of the grants? Are they still awarding some of these grants? Because I'm not really sure who serviced this area down this way.
So the ones that we're talking about right now are ones that have already been awarded. And I'll go back to that slide so you can have that contact information pulled up. But there's not anyone that's in Southwest Arkansas. But UAMS and Heartland Forward are doing statewide projects. So they're willing to travel. UAMS specifically has told me they're willing to travel. So
where would I find this information about what are the outlines of the grant and the parameters, and if there's even any opportunity to apply?
Let me go look, because I did read that the FCC was allocating some funds to do a second round of these grants. I don't think that window's opened yet, so I will go find that information and I'll send it to you, Stacy.
Okay. And last thing, have you heard of where we're at right now with the city of Stamps, with any updates there?
I have to pass that to Glenn because I'm not on that side of the fence, but Glenn.
Yes, I know that our general counsel, who's now our chief of staff in commerce, visited on site in Stamps with, I think UAMS was in tow, and the representative from Premier, I believe. And the next step in that process was to schedule a town hall event with you in the city there to come down and get everyone together and have a town hall and a big Q&A. So that was the next step on that process.
Okay, so who can I expect to hear from with scheduling town hall? Because I think that was probably about 3-4 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, I know that Allison was active in reaching out, so I will tell her to reach out again, but we'll send you and make sure that you have Allison's contact information so y'all can connect, because I know she was trying to connect with you.
Okay. I'll go double check and see if I missed anything, but I don't remember anything other than just thinking about some dates, and I'm open for dates and times for town hall.
Okay. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, this is Trevor down in Saline County. I wanted to speak on a couple things. Number one, I heard it was brought up earlier about the ARPA monies and cities and counties. For those of you, I would advise, if you haven't already, check with your county judge. There's a very good chance that those may already be obligated. I know for us down in Saline County, we obligated those funds quite a bit ago, so they've already been spoken for, but I would advise y'all to check with them to see if they haven't. The ARPA SLFRF rules require that all funds be obligated by end of 2024 and expended by 2026. So a little bit of a tight time frame considering where we're at in 2023, but if they can swing it, never hurts to ask. I did want to touch on some of our efforts down in Saline County. We've only had one meeting, but we've had a lot of conversations with folks outside of that meeting, with other ISPs, with other broadband committees here in the state. I know I've got a chance to talk with Ricky down in Nevada County and talking to Sandy in Carroll County. And it's been really good to do that networking and build those relationships and kind of share ideas and hear from everybody else on how y'all are handling your broadband committees and what efforts you guys have got going. Because I think there's so much that we can learn from each other. And these conversations as a state, as a group are great, but don't hesitate to reach out to folks one-on-one to have more in-depth discussions. Like I've been talking with some of the others about the survey aspect in particular and funds associated with it. You know, we've got about 127,000 residents in our county, and we've got quite the task in front of us to try and survey as many of these residents as we can to make sure we've got accurate data on their internet connections. And so we're bringing in everybody and anybody to help us with that, to bring in financial resources. And it's been really good to kind of hear from some of the other counties on how they've gotten those funds or they've had those services donated. Very insightful. So thank y'all.
That's awesome, Trevor. Good job for the short time that y'all have had a committee.
Lori, did you tell them about the fire department use from Batesville yesterday? Told them
Mhm,
about
I
that?
did. Yeah. So we had a great meeting in Batesville yesterday. I told them that if they would like us to come to their committees, and let us know when they're happening, and we'll come.
That's right.
We'll try to come to as many as possible. Mr. Ricky, I see you have your hand raised. Nevada County. Oh. Oh, okay. He just wanted to make sure, Stacy, that you saw what he put in the chat about the grant rounds. Is any other stories to tell today? Well, it's 11 o'clock, so we can get back to work then, I guess, or at least enjoying our Fridays. So hope everyone stays cool. Again, we'll meet on September the 7th, which is a Thursday. Ricky, you've got your hand raised again. Do you want to talk?
And I guess just with that grant round, because I did see it in the chat, I should go to the FCC, or would it be posted on the Arkansas Broadband?
I'll find you a link on the FCC's website, Stacy.
Just gonna put myself a note here. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And there's where we're at our last meeting. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Well, I'm going to wrap this meeting up for the week. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Like always, if you have any questions, concerns, the broadband office is here for you. Hold on, let me put my email address up here in case you don't have it. But we're here for you. So feel free to call us, email us, and send me your meeting notes, or let us, like I said, let us know when you're in the newspaper, because we love that stuff up here. But good luck to you. And if there's anything we can help you with in the meantime, feel free to reach out. Y'all have a great weekend.
Bye, y'all.
All right, see you later. Thanks.